Hello, and welcome aboard to this episode of the We Are Reading One Piece podcast. This is a podcast dedicated to following the entire story of One Piece from beginning to end as we focus on each volume. We keep the discussion spoiler free for new fans of the series, so this is the perfect place to follow along, whether you're new to the series or just want to revisit the world of One Piece with us. This week, we will be covering the second part of Volume 55, A Ray of Hope, which covers chapters 538 through 541. My name is Joel, and I'll be your host. And joining me today, we have Evan.
Hey, Evan here.
Yeah, so it's just going to be us two. Cody and Sean are currently starting their way back up to level 2, while Evan and I are down here in New Land. We're going to chill out here for a little bit. We'll keep the party going. But yeah, so I'm excited to finish off this volume. We left off in a pretty exciting place. Yeah, I'm not sure about you.
Yeah, I'm super excited. Got an introduction, some cool characters. Very excited.
Yep. Okay, so let's just get a quick recap for where we left off. Luffy and his jail pals made it to level 4, but were stopped by Magellan. The others retreated, but Luffy stood his ground to face Magellan. Luffy was unable to defeat the warden, resulting in him being covered in poisons that would kill him within 24 hours. He was brought to level 5, where he would die. Bon Clay outsmarted Hannibal, then took his form. He escorted Buggy and Mr. 3 down to level 5 in hopes of finding Luffy. Eventually, Bon Clay did and freed Luffy from his cell, and concluded that the only thing that could save his friend now would be the miracle worker Eva. They were surrounded by wolves and both passed out from the fight. They were found by Inazuma, who brought them both to New Land, a secret paradise in the Impel Down. Here, Bon Clay awoke to find this is where Ivankov had been. Ivankov was moved by Luffy's compassion for his friend and has already begun treating him for Magellan's poisons. He has already been in treatment for 10 hours, but unfortunately will still need another 2 more days. It'll be too late to save Ace. If Luffy survives, that is.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah, so things weren't looking good for Luffy, and he's kind of in a pickle here.
Yeah, not looking good at all.
Okay, so let's jump right into the first chapter for the episode. Chapter 538, level 5.5, New Land. Ivankov had warned Luffy that if he undergoes the treatment, it will take 10 years off his lifespan, and his chances of survival are already extremely unlikely. Luffy accepted. Ivankov injected Luffy with hormones that would tear his body apart and rebuild it. Ivankov tells Bon Clay that all that can be done to help has been done, and tells him more about New Land. This section between levels 5 and 6 of the prison was dug out by a former prisoner with a digging devil fruit. Ivankov explains that level 6 is where the most dangerous prisoners are kept, including former head jailer Shiryu, Crocodile, Jinbei, and Ace. Ivankov tells Bon Clay to get some rest, but he refuses and decides to cheer on Luffy during his recovery. Several hours pass until Luffy stops screaming. Blood starts to pour out from under the door, and it seems Luffy did not make it. To everyone's shock, Luffy starts banging on the door, shouting for food.
Classic. Back to his old self.
Yeah. Yeah, not even death could take that away from him. Yeah, so what'd you think of Luffy's reaction to undergoing this treatment?
I mean, we see a pretty shriveled up Luffy in this chapter. At the end, right before we get the shout, you can pretty much see like how emaciated Luffy is after going through this treatment.
Yeah, he's kind of like a husk.
Yeah, but you gotta respect how quickly he said okay. After I was like, this will take 10 years off your life. I mean, I guess he's in no position. He's really in no position to negotiate.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah.
It's like you can die now or you can die 10 years earlier than normal.
Right. Not much of a choice. Yeah, Luffy definitely seems to go through it here. And I love how Bon Clay is there to support Luffy and is kind of like suffering with Luffy and going above and beyond to show his support.
Yeah.
I love that. I love how this friendship has blossomed in this volume.
Yeah, this is just like taking it to like another level. Um,
Yep.
yeah, because like we knew that they were like friends with each other, and like Bon Clay put himself on the line last time in Alabasta, but
Mhm.
now like he shows like his true colors here as well. To shows like he like could have abandoned Luffy like Mr. Three or Buggy at any time, but he really stuck through Luffy and really was seeking a way to help him. Like he was going crazy earlier, like trying to find like different like options. Like, "Oh, there's got to be like, an antidote." Then like we found out like Ivankov is probably the only real option that he had, so it was like a miracle. But like he wasn't letting like that slim chance be like a deterrent. He was determined to find a way to help Luffy and dragged him through level 5. And yeah, even like throughout all this, he never like gave up on Luffy and kept cheering him on. And then everybody else started cheering too, so he kind of rallied everybody together to like cheer him on.
Yep. What a good friend.
Yeah, we get some interesting details too as well, because while we're waiting for Luffy to recover, because he was supposed to be in there for another like 2 days. So Luffy was like
Right.
way ahead of schedule. Um, but there was some time here where they were waiting for the recovery to finish. But Ivankov went over some information with Bon Clay, kind of like a little bit more like about the workings of New Kama Land and how they operate, and things like how they like steal food from like
Mhm.
the prison. They have like ways in and out of the prison. They even have like transponder snails keep an eye on things. So yeah, I think it's just kind of fun to have kind of some of the logistics kind of laid out here.
Yeah, so cool. It's like a world within a world within a world. like like Impel Down is such a big prison that it like I think I was saying this last episode, but it feels like its own little world. And then
Yeah.
here we're getting introduced like a little world within that world. Um my one question was um we see them in like the control room looking at all the cameras and um Eva makes like a joke about watching them run around for like running around crazy.
Yeah.
And we see they're like we even have a transponder snail. So I think my question is, was the transponder snail converted or a felon that escaped and became part of New Kama World?
My best guess is they converted the transponder snails.
Yeah.
Because Emperio probably, Ivankov probably used like the hormones to transform. Because we do see like they have like the eyelashes and like
Yep.
the lipstick and like the mustache, but
Some style and transponder snails for sure.
yeah, I think like to make them like cooperate with them, uh, probably use some like hormones because like, hormones are kind of just like um like a catch all in this kind of case. It's like yeah, we could do a whole bunch of stuff with these hormones.
Right.
Um, so yeah, it's just kind of like almost like a little hand wavy in certain ways, but you kind of just have to go with it.
Yeah. No, I do enjoy it. I think it is a cool ability.
Yeah, it's kind of like
We also
in
get
DC.
another
Oh,
no, go
no,
ahead.
it's kind of in DC where like sometimes like there's like certain things like hand wavy. It's just like oh yeah, just like Speed Force, which is like how the Flash gets his powers. You just be like,
Mhm.
how did that happen? Oh, Speed Force. Okay,
Yeah.
say no more.
Works every time. Yeah.
And that you're saying,
No, I was saying after we got the cool behind the scenes of New Kama Land, we got an introduction to Shiryu. How do
yeah,
you pronounce it?
Shiryu, yeah, Shiryu,
Shiryu, um, who is a pretty menacing fellow. Magellan, who I feel like we've seen is like pretty harsh. This guy's brings harsh to a new level.
yeah,
Um, you know, we were joking about people kind of getting swept under the rug here in Impel Down, and this is next level. This is just like bloodlust massacre level, like punishment or whatever he considers that.
yeah. So I think it's kind of a little bit like Lucci in a sense, where it's just for the sense of
Yeah.
like their own like violence for violence sake.
Yep.
So like it's not a matter of like punishment; it's a matter of like I'm just doing this because I enjoy it. So
Hmm.
yeah, he's just been kind of like using the prisoners as a way to kind of you know satisfy that feeling that he has. Um, but yeah, Magellan like kind of caught him as like, um, yeah, like we're not gonna like operate like that. We have like some standards here, dude. Like, but
Yeah.
yeah, if you look at this picture, like you can see like a whole bunch of bodies like across like the hallway.
Yep.
So yeah, he kind of like cut down a
Pretty
ton of people.
brutal.
Yeah,
Yeah, and like Lucci, he's also kind of like abusing his power, right? Like he feels like he has this like license to kill or this like free pass um to do what he does, but yeah, clearly thirsty for power.
yeah. But apparently, he was also part of why they were such like a stronghold. So he did help keep things in line, but it seems like once he kind of got put in prison, that also made the prison a little weaker in a sense too, because he was so
Mm,
powerful and formidable and strict. Like yeah, he kind of kept some of the like the prisoners in line. But
right.
yeah,
Brutal.
yeah. And then we also find out about level 6, which Mr. Two
Right.
seems surprised to hear about. Like he even know about level 6. But yeah, that's where like all like the kind of like the biggest threats are. Which I mentioned the summary. We had a few names there, and that's where Ace is being held. So it's between level 5 and what's like underneath level 5.5, which is where they are right now. So it's even further
Right.
than level 5.
Pretty wild. The deepest, darkest depths of this dungeon.
I do think it's so funny how Mr. Two calls Crocodile Zero Boy.
Yeah.
He's called Luffy like Straw Boy, but yeah,
Yep.
Crocodile Zero Boy.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, so Bonkov's kind of like trying to uh, dissuade Bon Clay from doing anything at this point. He's like, "There's nothing you can do to help your friend. You get some rest yourself. He should worry about himself, not trying to save somebody else right now. Like he's kind of like in his own predicament. So there's nothing that Luffy can do. But yeah, so Ivankov's just kind of like dismissing like what they're trying to do here, just thinking like, all right, you guys are lucky to even get here, so kind of count your blessings.
Right.
But then like Bon Clay is like, no, I'm not giving up. I'm gonna go cheer on Scrub Boy. You can do it, and he's just cheering for hours and hours. Um, but yeah, then we get that great moment where Luffy comes out after like we have like it's very ominous when we see like the screaming stops because he's been screaming nonstop during this whole time
Hmm.
because his body was literally like tearing apart, which is it was pretty rough to see. Um, but yeah, so he stops screaming, and then like the blood starts pouring from under the door, and it's like you think he just died, and then you hear like the big slam, boom, boom, and the door starts like slamming, and then of course we get the moment where he screams for the food.
Yep. And the reactions are amazing. I love Bon Clay's reaction here. Just like the waterworks. He's just like spraying water out of his eyes. So good. Even even right before that, going back to Bon Clay like not giving up, I love how everyone else kind of joins in as well. Like everyone's kind of
Yeah,
inspired his commitment to Luffy that they all kind of join in and are also cheering for Luffy here, which is
yeah,
pretty great.
yeah. I think from watching the anime, I feel like this felt longer than I was expecting going through the read through. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, I just remember the anime. It felt like this was going on for a little while, but yeah, going through I mean, it's basically one chapter, so it's pretty quick.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, and then we get this moment at the end too where Ivankov says like it's impossible. What's going on? It hasn't even been one full day yet. So even Ivankov is like, because Ivankov was saying like your chance of survival is like 2% at best,
Right.
and you'll need at least 2 days. And now he's like, you did it in like less than one day. Like, how's it impossible that you did this? And now did it
Mhm.
like ahead of schedule. Like, yeah. So Ivankov is also just completely like speechless.
Surprised at their own miracle. Like, wow. Even Eva thinks it's a miracle.
Yeah. Yeah. So you got anything else on this one?
Now I'm ready for some food.
Okay, let's move on to chapter 539, Imperio Energy Hormone. The members of New Comet Land start bringing in as much food as possible to feed Luffy. He takes in the food and announces that he's all better. Ivankov tells him he needs to rest, but Luffy is still determined to save Ace. Ivankov says he will remain here and is planning to make his escape once Dragon of the Revolutionary Army makes his move. You know, Luffy's dad. Ivankov is shocked to find out Dragon had a son. He realizes that if Ace is Luffy's brother, then Ace must be Dragon's son too. Change of plans. It's time to escape after all and save Ace. Luffy is too weakened to go on, so Ivankov agrees to inject him with hormones to restore his energy, though he will feel the side effects later. The Navy prepares to move Ace while Luffy and the new Kama show themselves as they burst through and pull down forces. All right.
This opening scene is incredible. It reminds me of the scene in Spirited Away when they're feeding No Face, and there's like everyone's bringing food, and it's just not enough, and they're like, "We need more food,
Yeah.
faster."
Yeah, that's
Um,
definitely right. Yeah.
yeah, it's so good. It's so good. So Luffy. Um, this is a great scene,
Yeah, I love
and we
like
see the result too.
well, like there's like the giant like meat on bone. It's like being
Yep.
shoved into like the doorway. It's like being
Yep.
squeezed into the doorway because it's too big to fit.
Yeah. It literally looks like a hurricane just sucking this food in through the door. Yeah, this is pretty great. I remember you see the result too, and Luffy's just like
Oh yeah.
uh completely spherical.
Yeah, all the food
He
went
doesn't
to
even
his
look
stomach.
human anymore. It's a great line.
Yeah, so then he like disperses the food like throughout his body, and now he's all muscular again.
Right. Regular proportions. Oh man. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, and Neva says, "It's a miracle. It's more than a miracle."
Yep.
Yeah, and then
Yeah, it's pretty
Blanklight
incredible.
passes out.
Yeah. Missed the best part.
Yeah, so Ivankov tells Luffy that Bon Clay stood there this whole time and was cheering till his throat was so sore that it bled, and Luffy's thankful to Bon. He's like, "Wow, like you did all that for me. Like, thank you."
So sweet. Pretty amazing. But Luffy really doesn't. He does not skip a beat here coming out. I feel like he's got a mission on his mind, and I feel like he's so determined. To like get out in time because we know that if the recovery had taken the full amount of time, they would not have been able to save Ace in time. So I feel like Luffy's just so focused on the goal here. Like he
Hmm.
comes out, there's like very little time for celebration. He thanks Bon Clay and Iva, and then just kind of like we're moving on. Like we got a mission. You know,
Yeah,
so determined.
he's like, "Yeah, I wasted too much time. Got to keep going." By the way,
Yep.
can you take care of Bon for me? He's still concerned about Bon Clay, which is great. But then
Yep.
like he falls over himself. So, like he like can barely stand. It's like, who are you saving in this condition? Like,
Yep. Yeah, it keeps like stumbling. But before we take off, we got another reveal that Ivankov and Dragon are associates,
yeah.
um, and seem to know each other pretty well. Ivan seems to think of like has pretty endearing feelings towards Dragon, um, And I feel like this is the most dragon we've got. Like we haven't really gotten much of dragons like interactions with other people. I feel like it's always just kind of been
Hmm.
like it's just always kind of like silhouettes here, or just like a reveal, or um, not too much. I mean, we don't get a lot here either, but um, we do see Iva mention that he's like staring longingly towards the East Blue.
Yeah.
So like we kind of get that he is thinking about his family, even though he's not there,
Yeah.
or
So
possible. I
mm,
mean, maybe not indefinitely, but it seems like that could be a possibility for sure.
no, I think that's right. Well, because I think Ivankov like kind of picked up on it and made that
Yeah.
conclusion. But that does seem to be true, and this kind of makes sense. I think it just kind of reaffirms what Ivankov already thought.
Hmm.
Yeah, it is interesting because we do see a little bit more of Dragon because we don't really have like too many interactions with him. Like the only time we've really seen him interact with people was back in Logtown when he was
Right.
confronting Smoker, but that was like so brief.
So brief and so
Yeah,
long ago too.
yeah, and that was before we knew like who he was and like
Right.
his connection to Luffy, like or like his role in the world. Like we didn't really know anything about him then.
Yeah. I love how it took a second to sink in with Ivankov. Ivankov's like just keeps on going, and then it suddenly hits
Right,
them,
your
and they
dad.
freak out.
Wait, your dad.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
But yeah, it seems kind of like Ivankov's been like laying low until the Revolutionary Army makes their move. And then like, once they make their move, Ivankov is like, all right, now we got to mobilize. But they're just kind of waiting for that moment where they can like come back out into the world. So I mean,
Right.
they're like, yeah, we can just leave like whenever we want, but it just hasn't been the right time. Like we have like a great
Hmm.
thing going here. We're just gonna wait until we're needed. Um, but now like things are starting to seem a little bit more urgent because he's like, okay, so I didn't realize that like Dragon even had kids, and now I'm meeting Dragon's kid, and he realized like, Luffy, your brother's Ace. We gotta go save your brother, and we can't just
Right.
like let Dragon's kid get killed here. So yeah, so things are now looking a lot different than they were before. So it was now like we have a reason to mobilize. Like our friends need us. So
Yeah. Which makes you wonder what Dragon and the Revolutionaries are doing right now, as I'm sure they're also aware of Ace's situation. So I wonder
I'm sure.
um, if we'll see their involvement.
Yeah, because this is world news. Like it was like in the newspapers.
Right.
Like, a lot of people knew. Like we even like saw like in Throw a Bark, the pirates who had the newspapers. Like they were aware of what was happening. So like
Yeah.
yeah, this isn't like just only few people know about it. Like this is big news.
Right. So I think Iva probably not only recognizes the connection, but also maybe sees this as an opportunity for a reunion with Dragon, because they're probably going to the same place.
It's very possible. But then Ivankov does say to Luffy, like, "Hey, you should probably not tell everybody like who your dad is. That's probably not
Wink,
like
wink.
information you should just be sharing so easily."
Yeah. Right.
But
Yeah.
yeah, so we do see why Ivankov is even here in the first place because of the ties to the Revolutionary Army. Um, but yeah, they definitely seem like a force to be reckoned with.
Definitely.
Yeah, so out of desperation, Ivankov's like, okay, so like you just went through like this crazy like ordeal, you almost died, but yeah, we have to kind of get you back up on your feet so I can inject you these hormones and keep you going for a little bit. It's like we give you like a 5 hour energy, but
Yeah. Right.
but you're gonna feel it later.
It's gonna come back to bite you, but we'll get through this. There's a moment that made me laugh right at the end of this chapter when Hannibal like starts taking things seriously and is like, "Oh my gosh, like these people are making a move," and one of his underlings is like, "Underwater is unusually serious. Is it really him?"
That can't be right.
That can't be right. It must be the imposter.
I don't know what to believe anymore.
Yeah, that got me.
Yeah, so it looks like he's got like a new headpiece on. This one has like Anubis on it.
Oh, I see. I was also just thinking that, but I wasn't. I'm like, did I just not notice it until now?
Like, I don't think it was on the other one, was it?
Maybe it's his backup because Bond took the other one
Yeah,
when
because
he
I
was
think the one they
impersonating
had
him.
before is on the ground, but yeah, I don't think it had the Anubis on it. To double
That's
check that
funny.
later.
Yeah, I was having that same thought. I was like, is that has that always been there? It's funny. The nose on the headpiece looks like his chin. It's kind of like same shape.
Yeah. It's like they use his chin for, like, the mold to make the hat.
Right. Yeah. Uh,
Yeah, so now it's like a change of pace where it's like instead of trying to, like, not get caught, they're like, "Alright, it's go time." So now they're just, like, fighting through everybody. They're just, like, running and, they're not being discreet. They're just, like, taking down everything in their path. And we even get to see, like, Vankov fight a little bit too with, like, the death wing and blasting, like, the wolves away and everything.
yeah. All pretty powerful. And then this last panel with Ace bloodied off to Marine Ford where the gallows awaits you. And that's the first time we've really heard mention of Marine Ford since like the beginning, right? Like, or is this the first time we've heard of Marine Ford? Is that a new location?
Um, I don't know exactly the first time they mentioned it, but they've been referring to it. So it's where the Navy HQ is. So
Right.
it's like the same place. So it's like the town where the Navy HQ is.
Where was Goldie Roger
Oh, that was
executed?
where was he executed? It was Logtown.
Yeah, Lockdown. Gotcha. So it's a different location.
Yeah, so Marineford is essentially in the triangle, with Ennis Lobby, Impel Down, and Marineford slash Navy HQ.
Got it.
So those are the 3 points where the gates of justice will connect. And then in the middle is like the whirlpool, so you can't just travel freely between them. Like
Right.
when the gates of justice open, then you can pass through, and then the Navy has a way to get through. But most people don't have an access to get through that.
Right. Yeah, I guess they normally just refer to it as Navy HQ. I guess
I
maybe I
think
didn't
so.
realize that Marine Ford was synonymous with that.
Hmm. Yeah, so that's where Ace is to be brought.
Not if Luffy can have something to do with it.
So anything else on that chapter?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay, let's move right along to chapter 540, level 6, Infinite Hell. They make their way down to level 6, but find Ace's cell is already empty. Jinbei tells them that they took Ace, but if they hurry, there's a chance they can catch up. The security of Impel Down blocks the elevator and the stairs, so they can't leave, then fills the chamber with gas. Inazuma uses the Snip Snip fruit to cut up the floors and seal off the gas from coming in. Ivankov says that they are too late to help Ace and to leave things to Whitebeard, but Luffy is determined to go to Navy headquarters. Crocodile wants to kill Whitebeard, so he offers to help them get out if they let him out of the cell. Ivankov reveals he has dirt on Crocodile to keep him in line, so they agree to let him out. Jinbei wants to help them save Ace and begs for them to let him out as well. With new recruits, the team is ready to break out of prison.
Wow, look at this motley crew.
Yeah, so this is pretty exciting.
This is pretty cool. There's some pretty cool characters all in one panel together.
It's kind of like you have like the opening team with like the lesser like pirates. Yeah, you had like Buggy and
Yeah,
and Mr. 3. It's like okay.
the junior varsity team.
But now you bring out the all-stars and you have like all right, now
Yeah.
this is a squad.
You're like, we got a chance here. I think got some real manpower. Yeah, this is pretty exciting. Pretty wild to see Crocodile and Luffy working together.
Yeah.
Who'd have thought?
Yep.
Who'd have thought?
Yeah, so I think this is a cool development. Yeah,
Absolutely.
like Luffy's been having to work with like a lot of former enemies, but I feel like Crocodile is probably like the biggest one,
Hmm.
especially
For
their
sure.
hit where Crocodile literally almost killed Luffy like several times.
Yep.
So he knows that Crocodile is definitely a threat. But we also get this interesting little conversation here where Ivankov says, "I know like um, Croc Boy's secret,
Yep.
so we have to worry about him."
Very curious for that to get more info on that. Very curious. Crocodile's not seem too happy about that.
Do you have any
Uh,
possible theories?
ooh.
I know Cody's not here to hype up your theory thoughts, but
No, no theories right away. Just lots of curiosity. I don't really
yeah,
know um, what it could be. I'll let you know though if any theories do arise.
okay. But like we talked about, like I not to confirm anything, but we did kind of say how Ivankov's hormones are just kind of like a catch-all. They could be like a whole bunch of different things, so
Hmm.
they could kind of be used in whatever way Oda wants to kind of change people. Uh,
Yep.
but we don't know exactly what that means here.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Croc does have a big scar across his face that we don't know the origin of.
Maybe he just had like a longer head before, and like he just like, here, let's just make your head smaller.
Yeah. He had a little trip over to Thriller Bark and had some work done.
Yeah, Hogback was his doctor.
Yeah, right. Yeah, what a crew. We also get to see Inazumi's abilities at the beginning of this chapter, or like in the middle of this chapter.
Mm,
The snip snip fruit
yeah,
we used very effectively and a very cool looking move.
yeah, yeah. So essentially, they're able to turn their hands into like scissors. They're like these giant scissors, and they're able to like cut up things that can't normally be cut up. So
Yep,
we see like they go through and they cut up the brick floor, and then pull them up um like little like slips, and they're
yep,
able to like go over like the gates that are causing like the poison gas to feed through, so they block off the poison from getting in. So there's pretty crazy application of the devil fruit, I
yeah.
think.
So clever. It's kind of cool how like their ability allows them to just cut up anything like it's paper and use it pretty
Yeah.
willingly. It
Like I
reminds me
think
like a tiny bit of like a Blue Nose ability to like make a door out of anything. Kind of
I can
like
see that,
cut. He
yeah.
kind of like cuts through like space and time,
Yeah.
and Inazumi kind of just like cuts through physical material and can kind of bend it to their will. That's very cool. Very cool ability.
Yeah, I think that's a
Um,
very creative, like, devil fruit that, like, you don't think of that's, like, so
yeah.
unconventional that it's cool to see, like, that as a concept.
Yep. Very cool. I also had a little spoiler on uh, Inazumi, who's on the cover of the next volume. So I got the color combination because I was
Uh,
thinking like Cruella de Vil, like the black and white. But then I saw on the cover of the next volume that Inazumi actually has orange. It's white and orange hair, I
okay.
believe. So I was like, oh man, there goes my
It's like an
Cruella de Vil
orangey
theory.
orangey red type, yeah.
Orange sickle themed.
Yeah, and the black and white,
Um,
the red comes off as black, so it's hard to see
right.
that, yeah.
Still very cool character design.
And did you see, Ivankov's hair color?
Oh, it's purple, right?
Yeah, it's like a blue purple.
Yeah, it's like a purpley color. I love that. I love like getting those. That's like the first time I see in colors on the cover of, or on the sometimes on the back of
Yeah.
the the volumes. It's kind of fun. It's cool because like you picture it one way and then you see it another way, and you're kind of like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
cool. Crocodile's back. Can't believe it.
Yeah, so it's pretty hype. And then, we also get a team up with Jinbei, who's a warlord that wasn't
Yes.
an antagonist to Luffy previously. So it's one of those rare cases where Luffy's first interaction with the warlord is like an ally.
Yep. I didn't love it, right? In that last panel, Inazumi is like, now we have two warlords with us, if you count Crocodile. And it was like, two? Who's the other one? He's like, doesn't even know.
Oh, that guy? Okay.
Oh, this guy. Okay.
But that is pretty reassuring to have powerful allies on their side.
Yep. Yeah, this is a power team for sure. Another thing we get in this chapter is a few snippets of Luffy's reminding Iva of Dragon, which has definitely been a theme throughout this series of like, you know, I think Luffy's family's got some really strong genes because they all are very similar people. They all have a lot in common. They all seem to remind people of, um, you know, the D line is very strong.
Hmm. Yeah, it's also pretty rough because they already took Ace out of his cell, so they're a little bit too late. And then we see Magellan is like shoving
Yeah.
Ace into the ground. So I don't know if like Ace is trying to like resist a little bit because he's worried about his brother. But Magellan's like, stop resisting. We gotta get you delivered. So don't make us
Yeah,
suffer.
this definitely right. Yeah, because at this point, Ace has realized that Luffy is in the building. I think he was kind of
Yep.
holding out hope that that wasn't true, but it's sinking in, and that's not sitting well with him.
Yeah. I mean, of course, it had to be true because it's Luffy. He would do this, right?
Yeah, right. So yeah, that's true. This idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, that was definitely a heart sinking moment to not see Ace where they expected to see Ace. So the hunt continues.
Yeah, and even like it seems like other people keep saying to throw in the towel. It's like, oh, sorry, this is as far as we go. Oh, this is as far as we
Mhm.
go. Can't go from here. And Luffy's just like, no, we're gonna keep going. Like,
Yep.
you have to go. If I have to go alone, I'm gonna go.
Yep.
Like, he's saying, I gotta go to Navy headquarters, even after they told him just leave it alone. Let's have our hands now.
Yeah, he's got a one track mind. Nothing can stop him at this point.
Yep.
Next stop, Navy headquarters.
Oh, and did we also go past where they reveal Ivankov's actual devil fruit as well? I'm not sure if it was the last chapter.
I don't know if it was this chapter. I don't know if it was this one or not. The horm fruit, is that right?
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember if it was last chapter or not, but yeah, we do get the name for Ivankov's devil fruit.
We got a band of 5 devil fruit users. Actually, no. I guess we don't know about Jinbei yet. I guess we don't know if Jinbei has a devil fruit or not.
Yeah, so yeah, that
I
hasn't
assume.
been
I guess
mentioned
we
yet.
don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't know yet. 4 out of 5 though. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And they're
just
all
keep
pretty powerful.
just keep away the sea prism cuffs.
Yeah, right.
All right. So yeah, do you have anything else on this one?
Now I'm gonna move on. I'm liking our odds.
All right, cool. All right, so let's wrap up the volume with chapter 541, The Greatest Ever. The Impel Down forces arrive at level 6 to see Luffy's team has already escaped. Shiryu tells them he's willing to help. The real Hannibal has returned and orders the forces to gather back at level 4 to stop them from escaping. Luffy's team fights through level 4, where the guards are no match for them. Mr. 3 and Buggy have made it to level 2 and have been hiding in a wax box. With the commotion, Mr. 3 makes keys that they use to free the other prisoners in the name of Captain Buggy to cause a riot. Crocodile finds Mr. 1 and frees him as well. Luffy's team is unstoppable as they smash through the guards, ready to head for Marineford. Yeah, so we get another addition to the team as well. Yeah, because we had seen Mr. 1, Das Bones, previously on level 4.
Yep.
So there's a small little moment here, but now we actually see that he's being recruited to join the jailbreak team too.
Yeah, this is awesome. The jailbreak is in full swing. That was funny. That was a bit of a tongue twister. It's like we got number 1 on level 3, number 2 on level 2, number 0 is on level 6. Yeah, this is awesome. I love seeing all of these characters interact and fighting together. Um, I forgot just how cool Crocodile's ability looks on page.
Oh yeah,
Like, this hand ability and his power just looks so amazing.
yeah,
Um, I've missed it, and I'm glad it's back. Like, it looks so cool.
yeah. He looks kind of
Um,
like a ghost, like the way he's like floating and kind
yeah.
like he's his body is just kind of like forming like in like it's kind of wavy as he's like
Mhm.
using his powers to like disintegrate the door.
Yeah, so cool. You
Yeah,
also
so
get a
he's
taste
definitely
of
making this easier.
oh yeah, he is a powerful asset to have on this team. Hopefully, we don't regret this decision later, but it's working at the moment.
Yeah, because his motors aren't exactly great. So
Yeah,
at least
I
he
wasn't
wasn't like
trusting as far as I could throw him.
yeah, at least he wasn't like you know being secret about it. Like he's being upfront. Like yeah, like I only want to get out of here to kill Whitebeard, but yeah, I'll help you guys out for now.
Yeah, it's like desperate times call for desperate measures, right? It's
Yeah.
like he is a powerful asset to get them out of here. Um, we also get a taste of Jembei's ability, his Fishman Karate,
Yeah.
um, which I didn't know quite what to make of this. It almost kind of looks like a ghost punch, like he threw a punch and then it took out like everybody in the vicinity around him.
Yeah,
So
it was kind of like I think it's like delayed thing. You know how like the samurai will do the thing where it's like they cut somebody and then like they
yeah,
wait and then it's like they fall over like a second later.
yep,
I think like Ryuma did that before too. It's like I think it's kind of like that effect where it's like he does like the punch and it's like they don't feel it right away and all of a sudden it's like boom they go flying after.
yeah, yeah. That is kind of how I read it as it happened. But I am curious, like the details behind it, which I'm sure we'll get at some point. But like, I wonder if he was like moving super fast and was able to punch everyone faster than like their eyes could keep up, or if he has some kind of like devil fruit ability that allows him to like punch multiple targets at the same time or something. So very
I think
curious to see
he
how that unfolds.
Yeah, I think he actually doesn't even make contact with anybody. I think it's just like him punching
Yeah,
the air that is like so powerful that it sends him flying. Cause like he goes like arabesque brick fist. And then like the guard's like, ah, and he twitches and he's like, wait, huh? And like he's like, you didn't
yeah,
even hit me. And then everybody's like, oh, huh? And then all of a sudden, like he goes flying and like the impact like sends like the people nearby like knocked over too. But yeah, I think
yep.
it's just like he hits the air so hard that he didn't have to make contact with them. Like I think if he like hit them, it would probably
That's
like
so
straight
cool.
up kill them. But
Right.
he's like, I'm gonna go
That's
kill
so
everybody.
cool.
But
Yeah, I'm excited to get more insight on that. That's pretty sweet. I like the shot of him when he says Fishman Karate. He's kind of got these like swirls above him, kind of like an aura or like a he's like emanating power.
yeah,
And it also looks like he might have a sun tattoo on his chest,
interesting.
but
Yeah, because we've
there's
seen
not a lot there. But it looks like it might be that.
yeah, because we've seen what that was before. Now we have an explanation for the tattoo.
Yeah. Yep.
So it would make sense for the fish man to have that on him.
It would. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, I'm excited to learn more about Jenbei.
Yeah. And do you remember
Um,
seeing Fishman Karate in the past?
oh, that does sound familiar. Did Hachi know Fishman Karate?
I think it was Kyubi from Arlong's crew.
Kyubi.
Or Karubi.
That's
I'm not su I
right.
don't remember what they translate it to here. But yeah, I think it's Karubi.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I'm pretty
I'll
sure
go
he
back.
used Fishman Karate back in Arlong Park.
Gotcha. Interesting. So it might not be a devil fruit ability at all. It's just like a technique.
Be technique, yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
And then we we have an update on Mr. 3 and Buggy.
Yes. Oh my god, this is so good.
So they spent like the past like however long Luffy was in recovery, like the past day or so, they've been spending the whole time making their way back up to level 2, and they use the wax powers to hide in this like, little hut so they can kind of keep an eye on things, not get caught.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I love this line. Um, we've been tiptoeing around for the last 20 hours in our quote Great Buggy and Mr. Three adventure end quote. Um, this is amazing. I really hope Oda follows up on this. I really hope we get the Great Buggy and Mr. Three adventure serialized somewhere because I would read that. I'd read that.
For sure.
I'm hoping
Like
that comes
just
back.
a little further, just a little further, and we'll be free.
These two are hilarious.
Yeah, so
They really
they'd be
are. They
like,
really are the pair that we never knew we needed. You know.
yeah,
I'm so glad.
yeah. So they've been like sneaking around like for the past 20 hours. Meanwhile, the rest of them are just like punching their way through everybody. Like, all right, now we're gonna speed run this. They're going from like level 6 now they're like level 4.
Yeah. Then we see Hannibal, you know, getting the troops moving, getting everyone in position, and trying to stop this riot. And he's carrying something, so I'm curious to see what that is because he's got like this wrapped um, object
Hmm.
in his hand. So
Yeah,
I'm curious to see what that is.
yeah.
That's
Didn't
new.
notice that. Yeah. Okay, so there's this little conversation here where he's talking to the guy over the transponder snail. So the monitor room tells him like something's wrong, and then Hannibal's like, "Oh well, this jackal headdress I'm wearing is actually," and then so yeah, it must make a
That's
backup headdress.
true. Yes. Oh my gosh, I didn't catch that. That's so
Yeah, you
good.
look a little different. No, that's not it.
Something's wrong. Yeah. Well, oh my gosh. His mind is always elsewhere. I love that.
But yeah, they did notice that Buggy and Mister Three are sneaking around in level 2,
Yep.
and they start letting the prisoners out. Which Buggy's trying to let them out for the same reason why like, he was using Luffy was to essentially
Mhm.
make his own escape. So he's kind of using them as like a distraction, but like they're being freed and they're being told it's like I'm doing you guys a favor. I'm giving you guys freedom, and everybody's like Captain Buggy's our savior. So everybody's like all cheering for Buggy for like
Mhm.
getting let out, but like Buggy's just kind of using them as a distraction.
I hope Buggy comes out of here with a massive crew of dedicated pirates.
That's if they get
That'd
out.
be pretty great if they get out. I know they're not doing so well. Hasn't been going to plan yet, but oh yeah, I'm just remembering when Mister One joins the fray. Luffy never met Mister One, and
Oh,
so
yeah.
Bon Clay is giving a little intro, and he's like, "Oh, the guy with the belly warmer defeated him back in Alabasta." Oh, that was hilarious.
In
uh,
case you don't know who the guy with the belly warmer is, they have a little picture of Zoro's face.
yeah, they have a little drawing of Zoro. I love that. Uh, Zoro, the belly warmer guy.
So he knows his face, just not his name. For Mr. Two, he just knows Zoro's name.
Yep, that's funny.
Yeah, and then we have this final page.
Hmm.
So we see Ivankov take his hands and inject them into his own face. It says Imperial face
Oh
growth
yes,
synthesis. And if you notice in the still page spread, his head is now huge.
massive, absolutely massive.
He activated GoldenEye big head mode.
Yeah, the cheat code.
Yep.
Oh man, this is so good. This last panel, this whole last page is incredible. Yeah, we got quite the crew here. I also think it's
Yeah.
interesting. This is a great end to the volume, but I think we've seen Luffy in leadership role, but we've never seen him like leading other leaders, right? Like right now, he's got like two warlords, all these other characters who are also leaders in their own regard. following Luffy, which is pretty
Yeah.
cool. I feel like we haven't really seen that yet.
Yeah. Luffy is kind of leading the charge here. And without him,
Yeah.
like none of them would have been in this situation.
Yep.
Yeah, they are just kind of like following his lead.
Hmm.
So that's a good point. I didn't think about that.
Yeah. I think it just goes to show how good of a leader Luffy is. Like we've always talked about it in relation to his crew, but here he's built this incredibly powerful crew of misfits in like a very short amount of time, and has them following him and risking their lives to like make this big prison break in order to save Ace. Um, yes, maybe their motives aren't all the same, but nonetheless, they're following Luffy here, which
Yeah.
is pretty cool.
Yeah, and we've seen throughout the series repeatedly how Luffy just has like this quality where people just like him and they want
Hmm.
him to succeed.
Yep.
So we do see um, some unlikely allies, but in the end, it's still like that Luffy trait where he gets people on his side.
Right.
So not
He's
everybody has this that can take these people and convince them to essentially fight their way through like impel down.
right. Right. He's like a very trustworthy person. Like I feel like people put their trust in him and will rely on him fairly quickly.
Yeah,
And I think he does the same. I think he does the same. He's quick to trust people as well.
yeah, and we have
I
a
think I
perfect
think he has
example.
like an optimistic, like a very optimistic outlook on life. Like
Yeah,
here with Crocodile, he's like being very optimistic and like putting his trust in his arch enemy. Like it's pretty crazy seeing them side by side, but it also
yeah,
speaks a lot to how determined Luffy is to reach his goal and what he's willing to do in order to reach that goal and
yeah,
to get to Ace. Um, and just his abilities as a leader. I think this is a really cool way this is shaping up.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, and we also have like a perfect example with him and Bon Clay.
Mm,
People that have like this bond now where they know they can trust each other, and they like Luffy has already shown like what kind of person he is, and I think Bon Clay also returned the favor in the same way. So
hmm.
I think
Absolutely.
yeah, a lot of credit to both characters in the situation who most people like in the series would not have done the same. So it is really touching to see how things played out and how Bon Clay's determination also helped Luffy to get back on his feet. Because without Bon Clay, Luffy would not have been able to recover from Magellan's poison and would not
Right.
have met Ivankov. So like yeah, Bon Clay I think also had a huge role to play in this situation.
Absolutely. Yeah, like Luffy's ability to rely on people. Like he surrounds himself with allies um, that help him reach his goals, as we see here.
Yeah, for sure. All right. So do you have any closing thoughts for the chapter or the volume as a whole?
I mean, I'm so hyped. Like, I'm so excited for what is to come. Like, it feels like we're running, full speed at this point. Like, everything's happening so quickly. The stakes just keep getting higher and higher and higher as like the countdown begins. Like, um, it's literally all like culminating to a single point. So I'm very excited to see how it progresses.
Yeah.
Um, it's crazy how focused it's been like the past few volumes. The fact that we still haven't gotten like any update on any of the other Straw Hats is like pretty wild. That we've been
Yeah.
just following Luffy's story so far.
Right.
Um, but man, I can't wait to see how this pans out.
Yeah, and things have definitely gotten like really chaotic and it's been such a roller coaster.
Hmm.
Because it's been kind of like nonstop like craziness and like when like things kind of slowed down like was very briefly like to the point where it's like even then it was still like very tense where it's like Luffy got defeated by Magellan and was in the treatment and it's like whether or not Luffy makes it, it was like very tense. And then of course Luffy pulls through, and since then it's been like full steam ahead. It's been like just nonstop. And it's like okay, now we're just like crashing through and like we're just like
Yeah,
forcing through, and it's just like yeah, it's just so chaotic, but like in such a fun, entertaining way. So I think this is it's just like really exciting uh, to see like everything play out, and bringing back all these
Yeah.
little characters, but like having new roles. And I think it's just really fun um, to see how Impel Down is shaping up. And like you said, without the typical supporting members that we have, like the Straw Hats they're absent from the story. But we're getting a
Mhm.
new supporting cast through other characters that we're familiar with, but they aren't Luffy's typical allies.
It's so cool how Luffy started this as a solo mission. Like he had the assistance of Boa to get into the prison, but to start as a solo mission.
Hmm.
And now we see him with like all these super powerful allies, some old villains, and just like an army of people. And like um, it's incredible to see like how he started off solo and now he's like busting out of here with all these with like a full army of allies. It's pretty well.
Yeah,
It's pretty
it's
cool.
wild.
Yeah.
All right. So that will conclude this week's episode of the We Are Reading One Piece podcast. You can find this episode wherever podcasts are found at We Are Reading One Piece podcast.buzzsprout.com or on the YouTube channel at We Are Reading One Piece. This is a spoiler-free channel up to where we record the podcast. So if you're new to the series, you can visit the channel there. You can also find me and this podcast on my YouTube channel at Pirate King Codex for more One Piece content. If you have any comments, questions, or feedback, you can reach us at wearereadingonepiece@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from listeners, so if you're enjoying the show, or if you have any suggestions on how we can make it better, let us know. Next episode, we'll be starting volume 56. Thank you. I've been Joel, and I've been joined by Evan.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah, thanks for listening, and be sure to bring along all of your hopes and dreams, and we'll see you on the next episode.